So, aloha, everybody. And I want to make sure that you can hear me. Let me just get the comments up here. Where are we? Comments. And then me and the... So we don't have a repeat of last time. Whoops. Let me just... I have to get out of some of these applications here. There we go. Okay. Preview. And then, okay. Just put your name in your, well, not your name, but your zodiac stuff in your human design if you want to. And let me just get here. Can you hear me? Okay, great. The sound is good. Okay. And let's just get this technical glitch here. There we go. There we go. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while. Hopefully everybody's feeling good. You're feeling good. You're going to start to feel the pressure start to release from the Jupiter transits. Jupiter's squaring Mars right now. And then the weekend, I think that ends on Saturday. So we're going to feel a reprieve, but you're probably feeling some energy returning now. So that's good news. Okay. Okay, so I want to start off first with just a little review of what's going on now, and then talk about Mars. And then we'll move into the history repeats itself, and we'll go into the 1500s, and then we'll do all signs readings, right, with my ego cards. Okay, Phantom saying, yeah, feeling much better this week. Yeah, me too. Same here. Okay, so this is the chart, the human design chart as of now, right here. Okay. So we can see that the channel of charisma is activated, the 3420, right here. So this is the sacral, this red square, and then it connects with the brown square. 3420, the channel of charisma. This is a big part of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It's one of the keys. So this keeps us busy. So you're probably feeling a little bit of an energy surge. So remember, if you don't have this natally, you can get your free chart. Always put it in the information box below. If you don't have this, right, because look, it's activating the sun and the earth are activating this whole channel, is go with it. That's what I say. It's like harness the energy, but remember that it's not yours because you don't have it natally, right? And then that channel of mutation has finally moved on. Jupiter is in the 27, and that's the other big news too, is Jupiter's going to be conjunct the North Node, like very, very soon. You can see it's already in the same gate, right? The same hexagram. Jupiter in the North Node, which always brings good news. Good news, and maybe the good news isn't right away, right? But Jupiter can come in and there can be a loss. Jupiter can bring a loss, but the loss is just to make way for the new, something new that's benefiting you on your soul's journey, right? But it's always as good. If it's not good, then it will be good, right? Okay, so we have Mars here, right here, and it just moved into Leo, the zodiac sign of Leo, and this is the 31, right? The 31st gate. It's activating the 31st with the moon, the 7, so that makes a channel, and this is a leadership channel. So it's interesting to me. I guess it makes sense. The 31-7. The 1-8 and the 33-13 are all leadership channels in human design. So they have to do with the 31-7 is all about looking to the future trends. And then the 33-13 is all about looking at the past. And then the 1-8 is in the now. It's about being in the now. So they lead in different ways. So that's activated, and we're going to be talking about the past, but we're also going to be looking into the future, right? With to look at where the planets were in the 1500s are very similar to where we are right now. Okay, so Mars is in the 31st gate, activating the 31, and this is the shadow of arrogance. It's the gift of leadership. It's the city of humility. And so the fear here is, what will people think of me, right? So even arrogance, right? Even you can say, well, arrogant people don't care about anything. They do, right? They do, because they're putting on a show. This is all connected to the ego, right? These shadow frequencies. And also giving your power away, right? So Mars is activating the nodes of the moon, right? So it's squaring the nodes of the moon. And this can be called skip steps. You may have heard of this if you follow astrology. That means you have to go back and redo something. You didn't get the lesson, the spiritual lesson. So there can be that. But Mars is activating. This is the karmic axis. Remember the last video I did was all on this. The karmic axis, the north node in Taurus and the south node in Scorpio. So just a reminder, these are our spiritual lessons. And so I'm going to put a link below to my blog article in my video. And you want to watch that because you've got until July 11th, I believe, where the nodes change and then whole new lessons for 18 months. So soul draining, these are the things you got to let go of. Search for a soulmate or savior, seeking self-worth through others, allowing others to define you and your values, having no boundaries, let that go, overly focused on others, power struggle with others, projecting your shadow on others. And the belief here, because there's always a belief that you've got en route that's not yours. It's I'm not complete without another person. That's what drives all these activities. And my self-worth comes through other people. So you want to run away from that. This is the self node, right? And then you want to run towards the north node in Taurus here, part of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. You relying on yourself, your higher self, not your ego. Right? Not this guy right here, right? That voice in your head that you believe is you. You want to rely on your higher self. You want to listen to your own inner voice. Everybody can give you their opinions on what you should do, but take it in. But ultimately, you make your own decision, and that's by listening to your own inner voice, right? You're listening to your intuition. Get on the parallel timeline, right? The soul draining Scorpio is headed for destruction. You don't want to get on that train. You don't want to be on that timeline. You want to be on the other timeline, which is building something. It's creating something new, right, in your life. Be pro-solitude, right? Not anti-social. It's called pro-solitude. Making space and time for yourself so that you can quiet the mind and really listen to your intuition. Go into self-empowerment. Power is inside you. Be patient and persistent. And boy, did we learn that, right? Through the Taurus season, right? We're in Gemini now, the Gemini season, the whole month of May. Self-value, and know that your value is intrinsic to you, and use your resources consciously. That means your energy, your time, and your talents. And the belief here is all my resources come from within. So the North Node is telling you to go there, and that's going to charge you up. As soon as we move more towards the North Node, transit-wise, and especially in our natal charts, we start to get charged, right? It's charged with energy because we're on the right path. Okay? So Mars is activating this for you, right? To get on your North Node, get on the destiny path, right? And the North Node here is in altruism. It's about nurturing yourself. What do you nurture? Not nurturing your ego, but nurturing your soul, right? What you need to nurture your soul. Okay, so just a reminder of that. So that's in the next couple days. You're going to be feeling this. Mars is activating the North Node, and then after that, Jupiter is activating the North Node. So we have got a lot of energetic support. now. And I think that's why we're feeling the energy shift. So let's go to the Pluto transit here. And this is big, right? Whenever Pluto moves, it's like the farthest planet. I know they call it a dwarf star or something now, but it's still a planet. So July 2008, Pluto was in Capricorn, that moved into Capricorn. And we know what happened then, right? The financial collapse. And then March 23rd, that's what we're in now, March 23rd to June 10th, Pluto's in Aquarius, right? We're in that now. We're getting a little sneak peek of Pluto in Aquarius. And then June 11th, Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn, which is the 29th degree, which is a big deal, right? Whenever you got a planet coming to the 29th degree, it creates lots of chaos because there's so much change going on in the consciousness. And then January, so it's there until January 19th, 20th, and then Pluto goes into Aquarius until 2043. Okay, so we want to be looking at this. So you're probably already feeling wherever Pluto falls in your chart, transit-wise, you're probably feeling it in that area of your life. So let's go back to the 1500s. And so I identified this like a month ago or something. It was just kind of sitting. It's like, oh, isn't that interesting? Because you go back to the American Revolution and the French Revolution when Pluto moved into Aquarius, and we all know what happened. But it's like, I want to know what happened even before that. Well, 1516, Pluto moved into Capricorn. And then in 1533, Pluto moves into Aquarius. And in between there, they had the little Pluto retrograde back into Capricorn stint too. So let's look at if we can draw up some themes, energy themes. Well, what was going on then? Well, this was the Protestant Reformation. This was the Catholic Church. It was the most powerful institution during that time in the 1500s and before. And so they had complete control of the masses in Europe, like economic and political control. They owned 1/3 of all land in Europe. And the Pope, the Catholic Pope, had authority over all the kings of Europe, right? All the monarchs. And what did they do? What did they do in return? Well, they gave salvation to the poor. So they said, right? We're going to give salvation to the poor. They gave sacraments and prayers. They sold relics. You know, those relics. Oh, we got a little piece of wood from the cross that Jesus was crucified on. And most of it was fabricated, right? A lot of it was fabricated because every institution is corrupt, right? Becomes corrupt. It's the kind of the God is an acronym, right? Generating, organizing, and destroying. And we go through these cycles all the time. So these institutions, they grow, right? They get sustained, entrenched, and then they go through a decline, right? And the decline is the corruption starts to show itself, right? So this was part of the corruption. They sold something called indulgences. So this is, they would tell people if they donated to the church, it was always money, right? Donate to the church, and the Pope would reduce a loved one's time in purgatory, because there's the great fear, right? During that time was going to hell and damnation. But there'd be like a purgatory. This is what they taught. There'd be a purgatory place, and that's when you were sorted, where you were going to go. So the Pope told them that he had authority, that he was more powerful than God, basically, right? That he could get your loved one a shorter time in purgatory. So he sold lots of this stuff, right? This is the corruption that started to come surfacing. So that's Capricorn, right? Our institutions are outer authorities. Okay, so let's do a little comparison here, because this is how the mind works. So Pluto and Capricorn is all about power and control. Okay? So what's been going on since 2008? Well, there's been a lot of reveal, hasn't there, about how corrupt our institutions are and our so-called leaders, right? Exactly what was happening in the early 1500s. So the Catholic Church said they're the caretaker of your soul, right? They're the caretaker of your soul. Western medicine. So it's not the church now this time. It's like who really has the power now on our planet, and we're starting to see it. Because it's the age of Aquarius. Everything that's unconscious is made conscious. It means everything, all the lies have to surface so that we can see it. And we've seen the power that Western medicine, I'm just putting it all in one umbrella here, has, right? So they're the caretaker of your physical body, right? So they say, the caretaker of your physical body. They're the experts of your physical body, like the Catholic Church was the expert of your soul. So the Catholic Church in the early 1500s, this is how they controlled people and kept power over people, the masses, the public, is they only gave mass in Latin, right? So most of Europe, they were illiterate, especially the poor, right? They didn't understand Latin at all. They couldn't read or write. So this maintained the mystery, right? The mystery, and everything was hidden. Spiritual knowledge was hidden. And so the masses weren't taught how the divine works. The masses weren't taught about higher self. The masses were not taught that God is inside, right? And so Western medicine, what are they doing? Well, they've got their lexicon, don't they? Every institution has their lexicon, and this special language that only people in those circles know, right? It's very exclusive. They have medical training. The masses are not taught how the human body works, right? So we're illiterate in that sense, the masses, about how our body works. So there's that mystery, right? That mystery. Only we know that. Then there's the mediators, right? In the Catholic Church, this was the priest and the clergy. So he gave power over to the priest and the clergy. They're the caretakers of my soul. I need to give all my power to them, right? And then Western medicine is the mediators or the doctors and the healthcare workers. And we give our power over to them, right? They're the caretaker of my body, my physical body. Shamed for questioning. This started to happen because people started to wake up, right, during this time in the early 1500s. Shamed for questioning, right? Shamed for questioning Western medicine. How dare you? You didn't go to medical school. You don't know what you're talking about, right? So where was the empowerment here that started this massive revolution? Because that's what happened, right? Was the empowerment, was the printing press. That was a huge part of getting the information out, right? The printing press. This is when Martin Luther, you may have heard of him, he started the Protestant Reformation. He's the one that started questioning. He was a lawyer first, and then he became a monk, and then he started questioning, right? Because he could read the Bible. So what he did is he translated it into German, so that more and more just the public, in German that people spoke, right? Put it in everyday language so that they could understand, and then disseminated it, right? So there was no more mystery anymore with the printing press. So that really irked the Catholic Church, correct? Because they were losing their power. Well, what's happening now, our empowerment, is the internet. The internet is like the printing press on steroids, right? The internet. We can send information so quickly, right? We know what's happening in the world, like the snap of a finger. We know what's going on on the other side of the world, right? So this is empowerment. This is irking the power structures. This is Pluto and Capricorn. So what did they do, the Catholic Church? Censorship, heresy, right? Persecuted people that questioned and spoke against the church, right? Book burnings, things like that, to try to control the information, to keep their control. Well, this is what's happening now. We're seeing it, censorship, calling it misinformation, right? They're trying to get laws and things passed, right? Without people seeing, giving fines, even jail time for people that are questioning this whole narrative, questioning Western medicine, right? How dare you do your own research, right? This is what the internet has given us, that we start to have an understanding of how medicine works, how our bodies really work. So the Catholic Church, what did this lead to? I'm really simplifying this for you just so you get a sense of the energy. You see the similar energies that we're in, but there's a little bit of a twist, right? So this was really about the right brain, the development of the right brain. This is like the blind faith, right? And this led into the scientific revolution, right? And this is when we had the separation of church and state, right? This was the scientific revolution. And then we moved into this, taking control. So the left brain, so now we've got the left brain, and this may lead to transhumanism, right? And this is the caretaker of your mind, the caretaker of your mind. So we've got the caretaker of your soul, the caretaker of the body, and then the caretaker of the mind, or something else. And I don't feel that technology is not a bad thing, right? Everything that we see out in the external world is neutral. It's about the consciousness that's behind it, right? And right now, we need a spiritual revolution, right, to be able to handle this technology that's coming. Because the consciousness, it can be used for, technology can be a beautiful thing if it's used in the right consciousness, right, to serve all of humanity, to liberate all of humanity, right? So, or it can, the enslavement, this is the parallel timelines that I'm talking about, right? So we've got to watch this. Okay, so that's just the general overview. And so let's talk about, because what can you do as an individual, right? What can you do as an individual? Because that's the only way the change is going to happen. And remember that we're in the age of this is the age of enlightenment. This is awakening. It's awakening. So we need this. I know this sounds crazy. We need this. How consciousness needs this. You need this to awaken, basically, right? You need the dark forces to awaken. You need that pressure to awaken. So do people remember Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes? You may have watched that on Saturdays, right, in the 70s, 80s. Well, this is the light and the dark, the duality, right? So we live in a plane of duality. That's the earth plane. So this was the sheepdog, right, and the coyote. The sheepdog and the coyote, or the wolf. I want to call him the wolf here, right? So they're punching in, right? They're punching in. And then they do their thing, right? They start their work day, fighting against each other. He's protecting the sheep. He's trying to get the sheep and eat the sheep. And then the bell goes off at 5 p.m. and then they stop. They stop what they're doing. And then they punch out and they walk home, and they're friends, right? They're friends. So this is like the light and the dark, if you look at it like that. The people that are playing the role of the dark, they're just playing a role. We all come from the same place, which is consciousness, right? So they're playing the role of the dark force. And then others are playing the role of the light force, and we need one another. So to get rid of the dark force won't work. They're equal. The pressure there is equal, right? So fighting against the dark it's not gonna get rid of the dark, or the dark trying to overcome the light. That's not going to get rid of the light either. So both these forces are committed, right? So they're committed. So this has been all up to consciousness, which side you fall on. So right now we're in a period of 1/3 are awake, they're ready to go, they're committed to the light. 1/3 is the dark, committed to the dark, ready to go, ready to win. And then there's the other third that are on the fence. These are the fence sitters. Those are the ones that are being forced to choose right now. Which side are they going to take? But ultimately, consciousness will win, right? So look at it like that. You put the punch clock in when you were born. Okay, I'm on duty, right? I'm on duty. I'm ready for it. And then the punch clock at the end of the day, when you die, physically died, you punch out, and there you are, your friends, right? Because you're all coming from the same consciousness, right? So you don't want to get trapped in duality, okay? So the earth plane, our purpose, our true purpose, is to transcend duality, finally transcend duality. That's what it means to finally awaken, right? So I love this, right? The consciousness, okay? So you look at it this, right? This would be like the two poles. You've got spirituality, and then you've got religion. But what's encases all of that is consciousness, right? This is the source of all. This is the self, the big S self. So to fully abide in consciousness, to live in consciousness, to know yourself as consciousness, we have to transcend duality. Okay? And the same with medicine and our health here, because this is what we're transcending. Okay? So the Western medicine, the alternative medicine, they're just two sides of the same coin, right? So the source of all consciousness, this is the play that's going on right now, so that we awaken, that we transcend duality, right? So what are we really doing? Is we're transcending that ego, right? And the ego is the thinker. That's what's generating all the thoughts, right? That aren't you, that voice in your head that's constantly going, right? That you believe is you. That the ego tricks you into believing that's you. And the ego is all about duality. Us and them, me against the world. I'm a separate entity, right? I'm not connected. It's all a keeping separation, and it keeps this alive, right? This ego inside you. In the belief, in the illusion, right? That you're separate from creation, that you're not one with God and one with everything, you know? And this too, right? This is you or me, everybody trying to bring their ego along on the spiritual journey. It's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. So let's go to the individual. Okay, so it's power struggle. And it's really interesting here because I work with the decans, remember, in the tarot, is the Five of Wands. That's the first decan of Leo, Mars, 31.2, is the Five of Wands, the first 10 degrees. So we're in that for a while. This is the inner battle, right? The inner battle, the conflict. So what you have to do is the persistence in being the embodiment of your authenticity. That's what the nodes want. Mars wants. Mars is jolting you awake to be your authentic self. That means the big S self, right? The big S self. So you want to look at, where are you in duality? Where are you not in oneness, right? In your life. And it's going to be where you suffer, right? Your greatest challenge, that's going to be where you're suffering. That's where you're in duality, where you feel separate from God, the divine consciousness. Where do you have black and white thinking? Right? That's duality. Even look in terms of your authenticity, things about yourself that you push away, especially as spiritual people, you know, that you go back to this religion. I mean, it's not like we left this behind. We still have, this is our ancestors. We still have this, and you may not be a Catholic, but after the Reformation, it started splitting, right? Different factions of religions, whatever religion you were brought up with or your ancestors, it's still within your DNA. So there's this thing about, I'm not pure, right? I'm not pure. I'm broken. I'm a sinner, and that creates the guilt, that conditioned guilt that we feel. So you want to look at, where are you pushing? Like, this is shadow. Where are you judging yourself and making yourself wrong and saying, I'm not pure, I'm not innocent, and I want to push this away, and this is shadow. And if you don't own that because you repressed it so much you forgot about it, then it gets projected outward onto someone else, right? So the shadow work 101 is if I'm judging that other person or blaming that other person, there's something inside me that I'm not owning. This is me. They're a reflection of me. The other person is you, right? That's one of the sutras for the Aquarian age. So you want to look at that because that keeps you in duality and it keeps you out of your power. If you don't come into wholeness with the light and the dark within yourself, you're out of your power, right? You're out of your power. So you want to look, where are you projecting in your life? Especially like, oh, I feel so victimized by this area of my life or these people. What are you trying to control? Capricorn, right? What are you trying to control in your life? What won't you accept in your life? And you're always trying to control that area of your life, right? In attachments too, because that can create power struggle within too, right? So the power struggle that we're seeing out here, the light and the dark, is just a reflection of our own inner power struggle. And this is the real change. It's not going to go out there fighting the shadow and the shadow fighting the light. It's going to be from within as an individual, right? And don't underestimate the power of the individual to change, to go within. It's like, I'm not going to be sucked into the dramas out here, right? I'm going to go within and to integrate and become myself, the big ass self, like pure consciousness. And this is when you transcend this duality. Okay, let me just see what people are saying here. Aloha, Gretchen. I think you're California, right, Gretchen? Texas, Satnam. Peg, Satnam. Phantom, Melbourne, Wicked Snail, Satnam, Massachusetts. And there is a... Oh, that's good, Phantom. Phantom says, I feel a strange energy this week, like I have a force field up that bounces everything off of me that normally would affect me negatively. This is the dilution of the ego, right, that's happening. And also, I didn't mention that there was a lot of solar flare activity these couple weeks, and that can really bring up exhaustion and triggering, and because it's a I don't like the word that word ascension, but ascension energy, like quickening our vibration. Yeah, okay. A wicked snail, the rooster, and the chicken hawk. yeah. I ain't no chicken hawk. I say, boy. Okay, morning, Ralph. Okay, so no questions about that. I can see. It's interesting times that we're in. Okay, so let's go to some zodiac. Some zodiac stuff here. And look at, just draw a card. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's look at Aries first. We'll see. Where's Aries? Aries, Sun, Moon are rising. Okay. So Aries, Sun, Moon are rising. You've got this karmic axis right in your second and your eighth houses, right? So you want to be looking at this, like watch that, click that link below and read that blog article to learn more about where you need to let go, what you need to let go of, what you need to embrace. Okay. So if you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising, it could be activating something because it's all about money, right? The second and eighth. Money and self-reliance. Your self-worth is going to come through your creativity. Mars is in your 5th house of creativity. So it could be children too if you have children. Okay, let's see what the ego, doing the ego card here. For Aries, what do we have for Aries friends? What's the ego trap for the Aries friends? What are the ego trap for the Aries friends? This one right here. Okay. So what keeps Aries in duality here, right? Is this needing to win? It's the needing to win card. These are the ego cards here. So this is I'm right. I need to be right. Right? I'm right. You're wrong. You're wrong. Got to get the last word in. You know those people? If you're having to just, you can see it even to observe it in other people, is they're arguing back and forth and each one's got to get that last word in, right? That's the ego. I need to win. And the avoidance here, avoiding feeling shame. And just because it's in the 2nd and the 8th, right? It's about tapping into your issues around self-worth, Aries, right? That there may be some shame that you have to deal with and powerlessness. And the thing is, once you integrate it in yourself and you deal with your feelings of shame and self-worth, right? I have no worth. Then you don't get triggered by it because you don't need to get triggered by it. You release it. So people can tell you right to your face, like, I don't value what you do. I don't value you as a person. But it doesn't get through because you've already integrated it, right? Yeah. And it's also about letting go, right? Because it's in the 8th house. So somebody that you're close to, it could be like a marriage partner, right? A marriage partner. Letting go of a marriage partner that you're feeling worthless, right? They're bringing up the self-worth issues in you. It's letting go of that. Letting go of your reliance on other people for money, too. That can be happening for Aries. And also letting go of some deep psychological issues that you've had, right? Like a long, long time. Like finally letting them go, like understanding. Mars will help you get the, that's where this comes from, right? Like really psychologically understanding yourself. And psychology is just understanding why you do the things that you do, right? And why you need to win. Why that ego wants you to win. I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta get the last word in. It's because I don't want to feel these feelings of shame, right? I don't want to feel these feelings of having no worth, right? Yeah. So keep that in mind for Aries. Don't need to win. Don't need to win. Sometimes you got to pull that ego back, Aries, because Aries has the ego really, really strong. If you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising, right, it's like to pull it back. It's like a dog. I need to win. It's like you got to pull it back and heal, right? Restrain. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to get the last word in. Yeah. Okay, so let's go for Taurus. Sun, moon, or rising. Okay. Sorry to hear about that, collagen babe. What sign are you? Broke your wrist. Yeah, there's been accidents. And be careful this week, too, as Jupiter's still squaring Mars. And your teeth brought me to my senses. Yeah. Sometimes I know it seems horrible, but sometimes we need experiences like that to jolt us awake. It's called the tiger on the path. There's that ancient Indian story. I think I told this before on the YouTube. There was this bride. She was going into a small village in India, and she was going into town to get her wedding dress, and she was, you know, head in the clouds, thinking about her wedding and all the people and getting married and the big party and the celebration, right? And then she comes across and there's a tiger right in front of her, a tiger right in their path, and she jolted, right? She jolted and she got really scared and she ran away and she ran to her master or guru or spiritual teacher and asked him, does this mean that I'm not supposed to marry? Is this a bad omen? And the master said, no, it's a blessing to have a tiger on your tail, a tiger in your path, because you wake up, it jolts you awake. So Collagen Babe probably got a tiger on her path, right, with that tripped over hose. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's go Taurus. Yeah. Right there. So Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And that is in the first house. So let's do some cards for Taurus. A card for Taurus. So it's activating your 12, 11, 10, 9, right? No. Okay. Taurus. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's activating your fourth house, Taurus. Mars is activating in the fourth house and activating the first and seventh. So your relationships. Yeah. And the North Node, of course, is in your first house. And that's how you show up in the world. So you're going through an identity, the Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, going through some kind of identity shift. And leaving behind relationships that are not aligned with this new identity. Right? Okay. So what do we got for our Taurus friends? What do we have for our Taurus friends here? What's the ego? What's the ego telling our Taurus friends, please? What's the ego telling our Taurus friends? Okay. You got the hiding card right there, hiding. You see him hiding behind a tree. Not doing very well hiding. So this is not showing up. The ego is telling you that don't show up as your true self. You'll be rejected by others, right? So you may have been, remember these nodes have been sitting in there since January 2022, right? So it's about 18 months they sit. The nodal axis sits there for 18 months. So this would be feeling rejected by others because it's you're letting go of the people that have rejected you, maybe rejected your true self, right? You showed your true self and you got rejected, right, in your relationship. But now Mars is saying no. It's activating this first and seventh that you have to become more and more your authentic self, Taurus, and to have self-worth around that. Taurus rules self-worth, right? And to nurture yourself. So this is about playing small, right? To avoid others' expectations. Don't look to me, right? The ego will tell you that. Just play small. Don't be too big for your britches. Whatever messages you got too from childhood. But it's preventing you from showing up as your true self because there's some kind of fear, right? And it has to do with the relationship with other people. Yeah, and you're fearing your greatness. So you don't want to listen to the ego. This is a big trap, right? That's keeping you from hiding because the North Node is like, it's only in there for another month, right? This is your chance to really show up as yourself and to show your greatness. Which is it's not grandiosity, because that's the ego. Like, look at me. I'm the best. I'm better than everybody. I'm special. This is completely different. It's coming from your pure consciousness, state of consciousness, like moving through you. Because remember, the 7, right? The 31-7, these two work in tandem because they make a channel. But the 7 is about the self. It's the shadow of division, right? Keeping yourself divided. Maybe you're dividing yourself a little bit too, Taurus. And then guidance in this humility. That's the city, is humility. And what is humility? It's not a concept. It's not a script. I should do this. I should appear. That's the ego's version of humility, right? The true humility is surrendering that ego, right? And that's when your greatness really comes through, Taurus. So you don't want to be hiding. Mars is going to be jolting you to really show up as yourself, right? And not care about what other people think of you. Not giving your power away to other people, right? Yeah, so no more hiding for Taurus. No more hiding for Taurus. And yeah, and I would go back too, because it's the 4th house, so it's emotional while you're hiding. You may fear rejection, right? That's one of the primal fears. Yeah. Yeah. So not to give your power over to others, right? And remain hiding because you're afraid of this wound coming up. And again, like I said to Aries, once you integrate that wound, right? So maybe it's rejection. That's why you're hiding, right? You fear that people are going to reject you, abandon you. Once you deal with that in yourself and actually just bring it forward and feel it, because it's the 4th house, Mars is activating your 4th house, your emotional body, then it doesn't matter, right? If somebody rejects you and abandons you, doesn't matter. It's like they're just having their experience of me, but I'm not going to reject myself. I'm not going to make myself wrong, right? So letting this go. This is the 7th house, what other people think of me. Okay? So that's Taurus. Okay. And let's go for Gemini here. Gemini. Okay, and Mars is in your 3rd house, and it's activating your 12th and 6th axis. So Gemini, you want to be behind the scenes. I know Gemini likes to run around and flit. They're very, very social. But it's activating you to relax more too, because the 6th house is what you're letting go of. And that's worrying. The 6th house is worry, it's anxiety, it's your day-to-day, it's being organized, right? Your work. And Mars is saying, no, it's time for you, is activating your North Node, and that's to be in solitude and to relax. And Gemini rules the nervous system, so you can relax your nervous system. So spending time alone, right? That's solitude, the 12th house. And then the 3rd house is communication. That's your neighborhood, right? So maybe take a little retreat for yourself, especially until July 11th. Okay, let's see what we got for our Gemini friends. What do we have for our Gemini friends? This one right here. Oh. What's the ego telling Gemini around their communication? Communication is failure. So the ego here is making you believe that you're a failure. So maybe some stuff is happening around your work life, Gemini, because it's in the South Node is in your 6th house, so you may have lost a job, right? A client, you could use a client, something like that. Maybe your health is being impacted too. There's been losses around that. Maybe you're being forced to relax more, right? Maybe you've been forced to rely more on the divine, right? 12th house. Yeah. And you may or may not be doing that, right? But Mars is really going to pressure you because it's activating the 12 and the 6 through communication, through your siblings, right? Your siblings can be maybe become more and more aggressive. So the best thing to work when we're working with the plane of duality, Gemini, and Gemini, the archetype of Gemini is all about that. It's about transcending duality. They're the twins, right? Is if things are happening in our life, they're just happening. It's just a movement of consciousness. It's when the mind and the ego get in there and they start interpreting what's happening out in the world as good or bad, right? So the ego's interpreting what's happening with you as failure. So you don't want to look at it as failure. So this failure is coming from your family and ancestors. That makes sense. It's the 12th house. And it can stop you from trying. It can stop you from even trying, not wanting to move forward on your destiny path. And this is avoidance. And then Mars may come in with some confrontation because it's third house, right? Third house, some confrontation to get you out of this rut, right? That's keeping you from moving forward. Keeping you from moving forward. Yeah. So just what I'm trying to say, this is for everybody, is when things are happening in your life, you've got to look at it as like, oh, this is supportive, no matter what it looks like. It's forcing me, right? Yeah, I mean, you may break your leg. That's a horrible thing to happen, right? Oh, I broke my leg. Well, it could have prevented you from breaking your neck. You want to start thinking like that because that's how consciousness wants you to awaken too, right? It's a Gemini. So there's no such thing as failure, right? We have no control. You know, people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. We have no control over what happens out here in the external. Things are happening and moving, right? But it's taking you to a greater place. So, and it's also about feeling like you have no purpose. So I feel like it's really, for Geminis, it's really about your work. It's about your work, and you're being forced to relax and let go and surrender into the divine, you know? And it's coming from your ancestral line to let that go. And you may be called in terms of your work too, because the 12th house is kind of behind the scenes. It's like working behind the scenes, and then it's like writers, right? Work that involves solitude in the 12th house, and then you come out and present it. So your work may be completely changing, you know, but just trust that it's for the best, right? It's aligning you with your destiny path. Okay. So let's go for Cancer here. In Cancer, Mars is in your second house. Let me just put this closer. Is in your second house, and it's activating your 11, your friends. Okay. So this is definitely getting you to focus more on your friends and your network, and to get out there and to align your creativity to the whole, right? It can't just be about you anymore, Cancer. I mean, Cancers are good like that anyway, but if you're an artist or in some kind of creative work, whatever you're doing, it's now time. This is what Mars is going to activate, because it's in your money house, right? It's in your money house. So it's activating you to start thinking more you as part of the whole, not a separate entity. That's what the ego wants you to believe, but that you're part of a whole. And it's like, how can I interface my creativity, right, whatever that is, with the greater whole of humanity? How can this serve humanity? That's the 11th house. How can I nurture humanity, the collective? Right? And then the second house is you'll be rewarded because Mars is in there. So Mars is going to be an instigator, right? For you to maybe earn more money or get in touch with your self-worth issues, that you've got something to give to the collective. Okay, let's see what we got for Cancer. 1616. Okay. What do we have for our Cancer friends? What do we have for our Cancer friends? Where's our Cancer friends? Tell me what our Cancer friends. This one right here. Okay, Cancer got the Who's Your Daddy card. Who's your daddy? So this is a choice point, right? A choice point for you. This is what's holding you back from moving into your network of friends. Maybe you're destined to, it's the North Node, right? You're destined to meet this group of people. Or a new friend. So the ego is saying, choose me, follow me, take my advice, right? This is what the ego is telling you. Choose me, choose me, choose me. So this is the dark night of the soul for Cancers. That's the card that we got here. It's the big dark night of the soul. And it's the 5th house. You're letting go of things that you used to enjoy, that you're being now called to let go of. What used to give you pleasure and fun is no more. It has to be connected to the whole. You have got to start thinking about other people, right? Other people, your friends. So the choice point, the power struggle that you're in, Cancer, is between the divine and the ego. That's what you're choosing, the divine or the ego. And you got to watch that spiritual ego, because the ego can disguise itself as the divine, right? And as soon as you go into that place of I'm special, that's the 5th house, I'm special, right? I have special spiritual powers, or whatever that is, right? That's spiritual ego. If there's like a sniff of separation in there, that's ego. So this is about your test of faith, right? You can only serve one master. That's what the ancient scripture said, right? Ego or the divine, right? So you want to be serving the self. And it involves getting out, Cancer, get out of the house, right? And start being with a network of people, right? Network of friends. Yeah. So your money, like if you're having self-worth issues come up, or you're overly worried about money, angry that you're not earning enough money, you're experiencing money loss. It's just showing you that you're not doing your North Node, which is to get out there, right? Get out there with the friends and stop listening to this ego. Okay. Anything else for Cancer? All I want to say is embrace change, Cancer. Cancer can get clingy, right? The Cancer is the past, it rules the past and the old, wanting things to be the way they were. It's about embracing change right now, right? And the only safe place for us all, Cancer, all signs, is our authentic self, right? Listening to our own inner voice, And to trust that people are going to be, Cancers can get very sensitive, right? They're very sensitive creatures. This is your soul tribe, right? The 11th house. These are your soul allies, friends, right? To not be afraid, right? Not to be afraid. Yeah. Because you're a bit gun shy, right? Because you've had Pluto sitting in your 7th house since 2008, and it's coming back there too, right? So you've had to deal with a lot of kind of Plutonian themes for the last, since 2008. Okay, so let's go for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The Leos, and it's right there in your 1st house, Leo. And it's activating your 10th and your 4th. So this is about you stepping up, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, stepping up. This is about your career, your soul purpose. let's do some cards here. Let's do some cards here. Okay. Okay. Let's do that. And it's actually you that's going to activate this because it's in your first house. Yeah. So it's about you showing up. Okay. A bit like Taurus. Okay, what do we got for our Leo friends? Our Leo friends. What's the ego telling our Leo friends? What's the ego telling our Leo friends? What's the ego telling our ego friends? What's the ego telling our Leo friends? That's this one right here. Okay. So you got the suppression card, ego, suppression card. And this is not expressing your authenticity, right? Because it's right there in the 31 is right there in your first house, Leo. Yeah. So what happens when we don't express our authenticity? We suppress it. We filter ourselves, right? It creates distortion. It creates a distorted energy within us. And there's a great saying, it's whatever you don't deliver will destroy you, because you're here to give, right? Leo's very creative and very expressive. It's ruled by the sun. Leo's ruled by the sun. So this energy will destroy you if you keep holding it down, right? You don't release it, right? So you want to listen to your intuition, right? Closely listen to your intuition. So taking some quiet time, right? And following through. Don't suppress it, right? Your intuition. And get into it. There's another sign too that you're suppressing energy is when you have obsessive thinking about something. So you want to just make a baby step. There's a great sutra. It's called When the Pressure, for the Aquarian age that we're in right now. When the pressure of time is on, start and the pressure will be off. So it's like making just a little baby step towards something that's career related will take off this pressure for you, right? And sometimes it's like it's the 31 in your first house, so it's just about showing up. Let's say you're right. Writing is part of your work that you're doing. You don't let the ego hijack that creative energy. You just show up. It's like, okay, I'm in front of my journal and my paper. I'm in front of my computer, and I'm here. I'm here, divine. I'm available, and then things will start to move. Yeah. But it's about expressing your authenticity and bringing that nurturing energy, right, to your career. Yeah. So this is not coming from a place of like, I want to be at the top of the mountain, you know? Capricorn, I want to be at the top of the mountain. You're really approaching it that you're building something step by step, persistence, right? But you're also coming through with the heart because it's nurturing energy. So you're doing it because you care, right? It's caring. That 27 is caring. And then a reminder, right? You want to listen to your inner voice and be self-reliant. I can do it. Self-empowerment, knowing the power is inside you, right? Being patient and persistent with the process, keeping your self-value, and use your resources consciously, your energy, time, talents, knowing all the resources are coming within. And this is like you're letting go of this being ruled by the emotions, because it's the fourth house, and being ruled by your inner child, right? Your inner child, which is like, I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid. I don't want to be visible. And now you're being you're being triggered to go more to your career. So I would spend some time on that, especially in the next couple days. Just whatever ideas you've had in the past, revisit them, and then start making a baby step towards them, and you'll start to feel this energy release, right? Okay. Let me see. Oh, Rebecca's giving me the thumbs up, eh? Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been very emotional, right? For the Leos, just with that nodal axis right in the 4th house, and Scorpio rules there, so it's like really deep emotional work the Leos have been doing, and letting that go, right? Letting that go, coming out of hiding, right? Especially if you're a Taurus Leo, right? Coming out of hiding. And showing up as you. Okay. With humility. So Leos need to know that the doing is done through them. It's like I go into that state of consciousness, right? I'm not the doer. I'm not the doer, right? Consciousness is the doer. I'm not doing, but the doing is being done through me. I'm like a conduit, and that will take off some of the ego pressure, right? That I gotta perform. I've got to be on top notch. I got to be on my game as a Leo. I got to be optimistic. I'm the sun. I'm not feeling like the sun right now. It's just to remember that, I'm not the doer. That's a big one. It's such a relief. I'm not the doer, but the doing gets done through me. But I got to show up, right? I have to show up. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Virgo. Okay, let's go for the Virgos. And so Mars is in your 12th house, Virgo. So holy schmoly, what's going on? You don't know what's going on in that 12th house. And it's activating the 3rd and the 9th. So this is Virgos. You're being called to elevate your perspective, right? Elevate up, elevate up, elevate up. Not getting caught up in the details. Virgos like to get caught up in the details, right? It's activating the North Node is to go up, elevate your perspective on things, right? Being optimistic about things. Right, so having that thought, like I shared, I forget which sign I shared it with, but that oh my God, I broke my leg. This horrible thing happened to me, and I'm so much pain. Right, see it at another level. Well, it could have prevented me from breaking my neck. It could have been way worse. Like you want to start thinking like that. That's what the divine is telling you. So letting go of the stories, right? Like the stories that the ego is telling you. Because the 9th house is about the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we listen to, is being more and more elevated. More elevated. Could have something to do with the siblings too. The siblings may be bringing stuff up for you that you need to let go of, old dynamics. But it's changing your beliefs. Okay. I'll go to that in a second. What do we have for our Virgo friends? What's the card for our Virgo friends? It's that one right there. There we go. Oh. I know a Virgo and she's totally going through this. Okay. What's the ego telling you, Virgo? You're all alone. Right? You're all alone. So this is the story the ego is telling you, and you're buying it hook, line, and sinker. Right? And Mars is telling you, you've done this in your past life. Mars is saying, Mars is saying, yeah, you lived in solitude in your past life. Yeah, you didn't have any support. You were completely all alone. You lived in a monastery, or you were committed to an asylum. You right. You were removed from society. You were all alone, right? Mars is bringing this stuff up. It's bringing up those emotions, those deeper emotions with the 12th house. Because part of letting go, like this great age of awakening, it's letting go of the past, right? These karmic patterns, we're letting those go. So the ego is saying there's no support for you. And even though there could be lots and lots of support for you, right? That's the ego is saying there's no support for me, right? And it goes back, third house also rules early childhood development, like in school, right? So that can start, memories of that time can come up for you too when you were in school, like elementary school, junior high, where you felt like you had no support, like no teachers, because third house is teachers, right? And there could be a support with a teacher, a spiritual teacher, because it's in the ninth house, either external to you or you're awakening to your own spiritual teacher within. So remembering that spirit awareness, like the divine consciousness, employs everybody and everything on this planet. It can work through everything. It's like the Matrix, with the agents, right? That energy could work, with more like a normal person, a hobo, and then suddenly they turn into an agent. It's like this, but for the divine, right? The divine can work through anybody. The divine can touch somebody on the head, and then suddenly they don't know why they're saying something, but it's for you, right? But you have to become receptive to it, and you've got to shift your belief pattern, right? Your belief pattern, because this is how you're perceiving the world. You're listening to this ego, and of course that's how you're going to perceive the world. You believe something, that's all you see. There's no support for me. There's no support for me. Even though there could be, in reality, tons of support for you. People are offering support to you, but you got your hand up, right? You're not receiving it because you're trapped in this belief pattern. There's no support for me. So remember, the divine consciousness can work through anything or anyone to bring healing, support, and assistance to you, that we're all connected. You're not alone. Like, think of so we're connected. We're all one. Separation, right? So what are you letting go of? Is this thinking, right? Third house rules thinking, how you're thinking. This is your brain. And who's the thinker? Remember, Virgo, who's the thinker that you have to transcend? The ego is the thinker. That's what's thinking. The thought. You're not thinking the thoughts. The true you, consciousness, isn't thinking, right? This is the ego. It's duality. It's separation. And it's telling you you're all alone. You're all alone. You're all alone. So I would suggest to meditate, Virgo. Virgo should be meditating anyway, right? Because of their minds. They're ruled by Mercury. Meditate, quiet the mind, right? Quiet the mind. Don't attach to the thoughts. And then you'll start to see. You'll start to feel. It's about a feeling, an experience of being all one, right? And connected to everything. And then start to see the support. So I would use the thank you mantra too, right? Like, thank you for everything. Even if it's horrible and the ego's like, that's horrible. What are you thanking? Thanking the divine for that. Just keep doing it, and we'll start to shift and change. And right, so that you can start to transcend this ego, right? And then move into the ninth house, beliefs and nurturing beliefs. This is generosity. We're all connected. It's the dolphin, right? That's the power animal for the 27 is the dolphin. Dolphins take care of one another in pods. They take care of one another. They're all connected, right? So it's knowing your frequency. And there's nothing better to lower your frequency than listen to this ego, because the ego lives in lower frequency. It can't reach to the higher frequencies, right? It can't live there. It can't live in the top of the mountain. It's got to be the base of the mountain in the dungeon, right? And you're going to be locked in there with him, Virgo. right? So know your frequency. This is what this card is saying too. Like, know your frequency, because that's going to affect your thoughts, your thinking patterns. Yeah. But Mars is activating it, and it's in the 12th house, so you can't see what it's doing, what Mars is doing, but it's bringing up some deep stuff from your past lives. That's very exciting for Virgo. Anything else for Virgos? No, that's it for Virgo. Okay. Are we at Libra already? Look at that. Let's go for Libras. Okay. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And so Mars is in your 11th house, Libra, and it's activating your 2nd and your 8th. Your 2nd and your 8th. Okay, let's do a card for Libras. So it's really asking you to let go of being fixated on money and your finances, right? And move more towards others, right? Merging with other people. Maybe less Libra fixated on the material world and more fixated on the invisible realm. 2. But there's going to be a friend, some kind of friend that's going to activate this for you. Because 2nd house, right? You could be a hoarder, like way too fixated on money. Getting you more into the 8th house. And this is merging with other people. It's intimacy, Libra. 2. Getting involved with occult stuff. Okay, what do we got for our Libra friends? What's that ego saying to our Libra friends? What's that ego telling our Libra friends? It's this one right here. Oh, look at that. You got the runner card. See him sprinting away. Fear of intimacy. This is fear of intimacy. And your north node is like, you got to go there, right? Your fear of intimacy. So the ego is saying that freedom, telling you what ego is telling you. Whenever the ego is telling you about freedom, it's always freedom with the ego. It's never true freedom, which is without the ego. That's true freedom. So the ego is telling you that true freedom is to run and do everything ourselves, right? Don't count on anybody, right? Maybe you've been hurt in the past in relationships, right? You're in conflict with the divine. This is the power struggle that you're in, that I talked about here, right? This inner battle, this conflict. And what you are, Libra, is you're in duality, right? So we're here to transcend duality. And we do this by transcending this ego internally, and that's the thinker. Those are the thoughts that are coming up. And the thoughts is to do everything ourselves. I want to be completely, this is like an unhealthy self-reliant. It's like the independent ego, you know? I don't need anybody else because I don't want to get hurt. Well, the North Node is like, no, you're going to grow in 8th house stuff. This is merging with another person. This is being vulnerable with another person. It's sharing your resources with another person, right? That's not what gives you self-worth and safety, right? The divine can come along and take all that away from you, and it probably has, Libra, like taking away all those resources so that you're forced to count on other people, right, Libra? So this is when we, with the running away, if somebody in our life is needy, Remember, the other person is you. So if somebody else is coming towards me and they're needy and I'm going to run away from them, I need my space. Well, what they're doing is they're showing you your duality, right? The power struggle, duality, is that there's a part of me that feels needy, but I push down, right? I pushed down and I judged, I made wrong, and then I projected on another person. And of course, you're going to draw in another person, a partner, that's going to show you that, or that's what you'll experience them as. They could not be needy at all, but you see who you are, right? The reflection, you see who you are, right? It's showing you this is a part of you that needs to be integrated. So the runner, the ego, is like run away, it's them, right? To keep you in separation. So a friend, it's going to come through some kind of friendship because it's the 11th house, and it's going to activate this awareness, right? This awareness of what you're doing, what you're running from. Because really, what are you running from? You're running from yourself, Libra. That's all you're doing. You're running from yourself. And Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, you're here for relationship, right? Yeah. So this is what's driving this is the fear of intimacy, right? Yeah. So you've got a couple days to deal with this. And then you've got until July for the nodal axis. Okay, so that's Libra. And then we've got Scorpio here. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And Scorpio is in the 10th house. You got Mars activating your 10th house. And then you've got it in your 1st and 7th. So letting go of only thinking about yourself, Scorpio. And the North Node is like start to consider others, right? Nurturing other people. So it's going to happen through some kind of an authority figure, maybe a father or fatherly figure in your life, someone you respect. It will come through them. It's activating that nodal axis for you. Okay, let's do a card for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, what's the card for our Scorpio friends? What's the card for our Scorpio friends? Tell me what this card is for our Scorpio friends. What's this card for our Scorpio friends? This one right here. Screaming. Oh. Okay, Scorpio. There we go. It's called Be Afraid. Be afraid. So this is the ego is telling you to be afraid of relationship, be afraid of other people, right? Be afraid of other people. And what to fear. So pointing the finger, right? Not taking responsibility for the fear that's already inside you. Because fear is just a frequency of energy. That's all it is. It's a movement, right? It's a movement of energy, emotion, energy and motion. But where we get into trouble is when the ego attaches to the fear and then creates a story and then you believe it. Right? As the self, the higher self, you believe it. So it's pointing out everything to fear in other people, right? And this is no trust in the divine. Like no, absolutely no trust in the divine at all. That the divine is delivering you a partnership because it's 7th house, Scorpio. And you're not trusting that the divine delivered it, right? The ego is like, no. Avoid that person, just stay by yourself, right? Yeah. But it's happening through this 10th house. Mars is activating this for you. Okay. So it's getting out of your own way. That's what I want to say, Scorpio. Get out of your own way, which is not to listen to this ego telling you everything to fear. And the work to do for Scorpio is to feel the fear. Just feel the fear. Okay, it's neutral. That's all it is. It's just a frequency of fear that's coming up. It's Aquarian age. The unconscious is being made conscious. It's something around this authority figure. Maybe it reminds you of your father. This person, it could be male or female. This person reminds me of my father or my relationship with authority figures, and it's bringing up fear in me. It's triggering fear in me. Is that relationship triggering the fear? Yeah, for sure. Is it creating the fear? No. The fear has always been there. It's been buried. That's all. Right? And now it's coming to be released. So here's the divine giving you this gift of this person, right? This other person, and this other person is triggering the fear within you because the divine is generous, right? In terms of our healing. So the fear has always been there, and now it's getting drawn out, right? By this experience with this person. So all you do is you don't project, you don't listen to this ego, and you just feel the fear. I breathe through it, I allow a space, right? This is highly transformative, and Scorpios are all about transformation. This is how you transform, is through the emotional body now. There's no avoiding it, right? And then you let it move, and it moves through you, and then you expand because you've made room, and then you can see clearly. You can see that other person clearly, and you're not going to see them through the lens of fear because you already dealt with it. You integrated the fear, right? Okay, so it's making, just watch what story are you telling yourself, right? Watch that. And all it is attaching a story to this frequency of fear that's coming up that wants to move through the body. Anything else for... Yeah, it's just still about your relationships. Getting you ready, prepared for a healthy relationship. Yeah, no avoiding. Wicked Snail, 777. Been avoiding people. Thank you for your honesty. Yeah, North Node is saying no, Wicked Snail. Right? You got to start, maybe change your name to Rocket Ship, right? Wicked Rocket Ship or something. Not dragging your tail, dragging your heels. Your slimy legs, whatever snails have, little legs. Do they have little legs? The Scorpios. Yeah, no avoiding people. And now you know that ego doesn't want you near people. Because remember, the Scorpio, the archetype of Scorpio is 8th house, right? They merge with people. The Scorpio longs for that, this deep, intense, right? Intense emotional connection with someone, like in a healthy way. Merge with them, and then both parties are transformed through that process, right? That's what you long for. But you got that crazy ego. You're listening to that crazy ego, making up stories, right? Yeah, don't listen. Don't listen. It's just residual fear. We all have to deal with it, no matter what sign you are, right? That unexpected sudden fear will come up out of nowhere. It's just being cleared. Okay, so let's go for Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising is... It's the 9th, so you've got Mars in the 9th, right? 12, 11, 10, 9. You've got Mars in the 9th house, and it's activating your 12th and 6th. So Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, your karmic axis is to get into service, right? 6th house is service. So Sagittarius have been maybe hiding out. They believe that they have to hide out. They believe that they have to be hidden away and in solitude. Just doing their own thing. Maybe not spending a lot of time with people. And now they're being called to be of service. Maybe you've already been doing this, right? But Mars is going to activate it even more. And it's through your belief system. right? Because Sagittarius is the natural ruler of the ninth house. There could be some kind of teaching too that you start to activate it. Maybe the teaching is there, like as a philosophy, but you haven't really embodied it. Right? Maybe you've got a philosophy about karma yoga. Karma yoga is all about service, right? It's about service. And that's the best way to deal with the ego, is to do selfless service. Like just to be kind, help people, just to help people. No expectation for reward, not even a thank you. And now Mars is actually activating that in you. And so you're being of service to other people. And you'll love it, right? You'll love it. Because it's a vacation. It's like a vacation from the mind and the ego. When you just focus on someone else in a healthy way and help them. And usually you're just helping yourself, right? Ultimately. Okay. So maybe your beliefs around spirituality is changing and shifting now. Okay. What do we have for our Sagittarius friends? What's the ego telling our Sagittarius friends? Here. Oh. Okay. You got the shut it down. Shut it down card. This is what the ego is telling you. Shut it down. See the fingers in the ears? Right? I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to open my heart. Shut it down. The ego is saying, shut it down. Go cold. Right? Go into judgment or self-righteousness. That's the shadow of Sagittarius. I know everything. That's the shadow of Sagittarius, right? I'm self-righteous. The little people, they don't know what they're talking about, you know? So this is saying the ego is telling you to shut down your heart, that it's weak to open up your heart, right? It's a weakness. You'll be a doormat, all the fears that come with that. And there's a sutra for the Aquarian age, which is understand through compassion or misunderstand the times, right? So this is really coming from the heart, right? This is what Mars is activating your belief system around what spirituality is, right? And coming back into the heart, right? You can't help anybody as a spiritual teacher because Sagittarius rules that, right? Spirituality and teaching. That you can't without opening up your heart. Not now. Right? So this service is caring. It's the 27. The 27 in the 6th house. It's really opening up your heart to other people, right? And really helping them from the heart. And recognizing that there's no separation, right? This is your duality, Sagittarius. Listening to the thinker. So you have to transcend that ego, right? Transcend the ego, which is duality and separation, and recognizing that humanity is one organism. It's one human organism, that we're all connected, right? So bring that into your beliefs, because it's the 9th house, right? Bring that into your beliefs. That's the spiritual house, the 9th house, that we're all connected. Okay, I'm just going to bring that belief in, rewire my brain here, because that's what Mars wants to do, that we're all connected, we're one human organism. Well, how would I operate in the world? By that belief pattern. Well, of course, you'd be serving, right? You'd be serving people, helping people. Fixing, right? The 6th house is fixing too. But in a practical way, because it's Taurus. Yeah. So moving away from what you traditionally thought of as spirituality. That you're removed. You're not a householder. You're removed. You're a renunciate. This is old patterning, right? Old religious patterning that we're letting go of. And bringing in the new. Oh, it's about being a householder, and it's about being out there and being of service to others. That's what true spirituality is, right? Okay. Because it sounds like you spend a lot of time on your own, Sagittarius, with that self node in the 12th house. What else here do we have for And it's a leadership, right? Because there's a 31 in the ninth house. The Mars is activating you as a teacher. Yeah. But to come in humility, come to humility, and that's opening up the heart, right? Humility is opening up your heart, fully opening up your heart to your fellow humankind. Yeah. And it's leadership, right? 31's leadership. Anything else for Sagittarius? Okay. Yeah, I just see a total rewiring of your spiritual beliefs happening. Okay. That's what we got for Sagittarius. Okay. Oh, M. Baines, you got Mars in Sagittarius. You're having a little Mars return, or no, because Mars is in Leo. But your sun is in Sagittarius. Oh, great. So M. Baines says M. Baines is a Sagittarius sun, Mars in Sagittarius too. Just began end of life training to care for others and be of service. That's awesome. So it can activate, because the ninth house is education too, right? So that would fit with the end of life training too. So to be aware of that. It's taking action, right? Mars is about taking action on something. Yeah. Right. Oh, this is right up your alley. And your natal Mars, Mercury, and Sun all in the ninth house. Yeah, that's great, natally. Okay. And end of life training, we sure need that, eh? The death duelists, or death midwives, or whatever you call them. Okay. It's going to become more important. Okay, let's go for those Capricorns. The Capricorns. So, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So you've got Mars in your 8th house. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and it's activating your 11 and your 5th house. Okay. So with the Capricorn, something is happening with someone you share a contract with. So that could be your partner, husband, wife, spouse, partner, whatever you want to call them, that you share resources with. Could even be a roommate too. People that you live with, you pay the bills with. Could be a legal thing too. It's getting activated for the Capricorns. Mars in there. So there's going to be movement in the 8th house. Other people's money movement. And it's saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's saying to it's about your it could be about your children, Capricorn, or they don't necessarily have to be your biological children, but they could be like you play that role. We often get into roles with people. If they're younger, you know, you've got younger people in your life and they're more like a child to you. You're like your mother-child relationship or father-child is caring. Okay, let's see what the Capricorn's here. So let's see what our Capricorn friends need to see. What do our Capricorn friends need to see here? Okay, the ego, self-sabotage. You can see what he's cutting down the branch there on the wrong side. And he's going to go tumbling down. So this is the ego. So it's going to come through. It's letting go of some friendships that are not good for you, Capricorn. So letting go, focusing on friendship, bringing the focus more onto yourself. And this other people's money, this partner thing is going to activate that. A partner is going to activate this for you to show you these friends that are no longer aligned for you. I feel like this has been a theme for Capricorns for like all this year around their friendship. Yeah. Coming more focus on caring for their literal childlike people in their life, or their own inner child, nurturing their own inner child, caring for their own inner child, having fun again, right? Maybe you've been focused on these friends that you've had to help, right? You had to help all the time. They're always in a crisis. Yeah. Okay. So the self-sabotage. So this is a self-destructive pattern that comes from your childhood. So this fits with the inner child direction. So one part of the mind, this is the ego, because the ego's off because it's duality, right? So the ego can work in tag team. There can be two of them, right? There can be two of them working together, but they're the same. They're the same ego. So remember that we're here, Capricorn, to transcend the ego. This is the thinker, and the ego is duality and separation. So one part of the ego could be really, really sad for your loss. And then you got another part of the ego that's gleeful. So this is this conflict inside Capricorn that I talked about. The Five of Wands, that correlates to Leo in Mars and Leo, right? The Five of Wands. This is the inner battle that's going on, right? So undermining actions not aligned with your goals. So this is the fun house, right? Things that you do for fun, which may not be good for you. Maybe old habits, Capricorn, what you did for fun. Yeah. With friends. So letting go of these friends, maybe they're friends of habits, right? And this is self-sabotaging. So one part of you knows these friends are not good for me, right? I get bad habits with them. Maybe their idea of fun is to go out and go drinking or gossiping or get into negativity, like indulge in negativity or victim consciousness. And I just feel horrible and I feel drained after I spend time with them. And yet that ego is telling you, I'll go out with them. You've been friends with them for 15 years, Capricorn, right? Be loyal. They're not bad people, right? And then you follow that ego, that's self-sabotage. And the next day you're hungover and you're feeling horrible and you're feeling negative and your vibration is so low and you're drained, right? You're not caring for yourself. You're not in that fifth house having fun, right? And it's going to affect your money, the money you receive, because that's money you receive too, is going to get activated. And if that's happening, like something falling through, like a legal matter's not coming through or money's not coming through, it's activating this, right? So that you can see what are these friends? What are they really about? Are they really my friends? Are they just a test or some people that I've just outgrown? That's not a bad thing. And the North Node is saying focus on yourself and what really brings you joy, right? What brings you joy and pleasure. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else for Capricorn? There. Yeah. I'm just thinking too, right? You've got Pluto in your second house until June, and then it's going to go back into your first house. That is bringing up self-worth issues, huge self-worth issues for you now, the time that we're in now. And it's around money, right? So it's going to bring up anger, Capricorn. And this is good because it's going to let you let go of this network of friends, right? Let go of this network of friends that are draining you, not good for you, and work on just nurturing yourself, right? Yeah. Okay. And it's Taurus, right? So things that you enjoy anyway, Capricorn, are to do with your body and nurturing your body and not indulging in the senses, but enjoying the senses, the five senses, right? Creativity, art, nature, right? These are things that you naturally enjoy anyway, and this nurtures your soul. these friends are not nurturing you. That's what I see here. Okay? So that's what we got for Capricorn. And then let's go for Aquarius. Aquarius. And that is, so 12, 11, 10. Okay. So, of course, Mars is in your 7th house, Aquarius. And it's activating your 10th house and your 4th house. Okay. So, the spiritual lessons for you are to go into your emotion, your home, Aquarius, and your own personal self, right? So it's letting go of your career, right? Your public image, letting that go and moving into taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, your emotions, your inner child, your inner child to the 4th house. And your partner is going to activate. Somebody in your life, most likely your partner, is going to activate that for you, right? So another Leo sun or moon or rising will activate that for you. Maybe bring that to your attention. In an angry way. It could be an angry way, an arrogant way. The shadow of 31 is arrogance, leadership, humility. Or it could be gentle too. But the fear here, remember, right? The fear is what people think of me and giving my power away to other people, right? Fear that I'll be judged or whatever if I take care of myself. If I take a day off work or something because I'm not feeling emotionally up to it, you know? I'm feeling raw, you know, that feel, Aquarius, that will be new for you because you're detachment, right? Leo's the opposite of Aquarius. It's detached from your emotions, but maybe your emotions are coming up more, you know? And that Mars is activating that, oh, you've got to take care of yourself emotionally now. But there can be fear of what people think of me. Okay. Okay. And there could be some changes, right, in the career and your soul purpose. What do we have for our Aquarian friends? What do we have for Aquarian friends? This one right here. Okay. So this is the glass is half empty, glass is half full card. So this is about your perception. So it's the ego's getting you addicted to negative thinking, right? So there could be some changes in terms of your career, right? Subtle or drastic changes. And it's going to be around your body, right? Because Pluto's in Aquarius in your 1st house for another couple months, right? So your body can be impacted. Maybe you're having body stuff, but it's actually coming. It's actually directing you to go and start taking care of yourself emotionally, because they've discovered, right, the root of a lot of physical stuff is emotional. It's emotional work, emotional stuckness, right? That so there could be negative thinking about this, right? What's happening with my work? All this change is happening to me, and all these emotions are coming up, right? And our emotions actually inform our thinking. And remember, Aquarius, that the thinker is this ego, right? And this is what we're transcending. Right, the thinker is the ego that's generating the thoughts, and ego is duality. We're transcending duality, transcending separation. Yeah. So it's writing a dark story. So it's listening to this ego and the dark story that's coming. This is what's going to happen to me if I don't have this career. Like something's happening in my career. Maybe I'm being forced by the universe to take up a new career, do something new, and this won't work out. Having expectations that the glass is half empty. It's not going to work out for me, right? It's all negative thinking. So you want to watch this as you go into the emotional work, because Aquarius, what you have to do is clear these emotions that are coming up. They're not being created. Do you know what I mean? Like Mars in the 7th house is not being created by your partner. My partner's making me angry, or my partner's making me feel this and that. It's like, no, the partner is triggering those emotions that are already inside you, that they've been so buried. So as you just get, like I said, with another sign, if you just feel the emotions without creating a story around it, right? This is going to clear up the energy. So that's what I feel like what you're being called to do is just to rest more, take care of yourself more, take care of yourself emotionally, like nurture yourself emotionally, Aquarius. And less focus on your career and what you're doing out in the world. Yeah, but it's going to come through your partner. It's going to activate that for you. Yeah. Anything else for Aquarius? In your home, right? Your home. Maybe taking a little bit more time nurturing yourself in your home environment. This is home environment. And it's just less on work, more on home, more on you, Aquarius. Okay. And let's go for the last one, which is Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay. In Pisces is in the 6th house. So Mars is activating your 6th house, Pisces. And it's triggering your 1, 2, 3, your third and 9th house. Okay. So this could be work, Pisces. Could be health related. Mars in the 6th house, that could be an accident, some kind of accident, Pisces. That affects your health, affects your work. Coming through the 3rd and the 9th. Okay. So this is saying to watch your communication, Pisces. Become more curious. This is how you're going to care, is through your communication with other people. Is to watch how you communicate. Right? It's not about being lofty. Right? This elevated point of view all the time. Right? It's calling you to come back. Right? It's your environment. It's the 3rd house. Your environment, who you talk to, being curious, but in a caring way. Right? Could be with your siblings too. Just coming more down to earth. That's what I see, right, for Pisces. Who's around you? Who's around you? And your health is going to show you. The thing is, when we start to embrace our North Node, natally and by transit, things start to improve. Right? Your health will start to improve. Okay, what do we have for our Pisces friends? What do we have for our Pisces friends? This one right here. Okay. Control. Control, control, control. So Pisces, 9th house, letting that go. Yeah. Not wanting to get caught up in the details, right? Pisces likes the elevated view too. Right? The spiritual view too. Pisces likes to escape. Maybe escaping in that elevated view. And now you're being called to, right? To really be with the people that are around you. Like that you see every day. That's the 3rd house. Right? Connecting with them. So this is control. So controlling communication, because it's the 3rd house. Right? Controlling the other person. So trying to control the emotions that are coming up, Pisces. Right? By controlling the other person. Controlling the internal, what's going on in the internal, by attempting to control the external environment. So this is coming from being heartbroken, being afraid, right? And communicating with other people, because it's the 3rd house. So you demanding control, right? Instead of just relaxing. Pisces, and that's your natural state, right? The highest elevated state of Pisces is to relax and go with the flow, right? Of the divine. So it's like go into that state with the people that you see around you. So not trying to control them through your words, through your actions. They're thinking you know what they're trying to communicate, right? Those other people. It's like go into ask questions, right? 3rd house is questions. Getting into the facts. What did you mean when you said this? Don't assume that you know what they're saying, that you know the meaning. That's the ninth house, is to let that go. The self-righteousness, right? I know what they're trying to say, right? I know what they're saying. Just assuming that you know everything, that's the control. Go into the asking the questions, right? It's like the in a conversation I had with this mechanic guy, and we started talking about he was in AA, and I was asking him, what did you like AA? And he said, I didn't like this higher power stuff. And I said, oh, you don't believe in God? And he goes, no, I don't believe in God. Well, if this was you, right, what you're letting go of is like, oh, he's an atheist, I'm not going to talk to him, right? He's a materialist, right? He's less than me or whatever. Instead, go into like the question, which would be like, what's your definition of God, right? So you're just being curious. You're not assuming you know what he meant when he said that, right? But this would be the control, right? The control. And what you're trying to control is the connection with other people. And it's not you, remember? It's this ego that you're transcending the ego here. The ego wants you separate. So Pisces, you always want to be looking at, how can I join with that other person? How can I join with them? Because the other person is me, right? And this North Node is telling you, it's going to come through your communication with other people that you see every single day, your siblings, right? And your health. It's going to get activated by your health if you're not doing it, right? Activating you to be of service too. That's the 6th house. And your work could happen through your work too. Yeah. Anything else for Pisces there? No, that's it. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Just a sec. Collagen Babe says, yep, Sun and Pisces. Oh, you had some health stuff. You tripped over the hose, right? Yeah. That would be the 6th house. That's your body. Okay. And your brother the following Tuesday. Yeah. So this is also for Pisces, is to slow down, get grounded, right? Get grounded. Be aware of your environment. Be aware of when you're driving too, because third house cars, transport, and your thinking. Have more caring thoughts, right, for people, towards people, and how you think about yourself too, your own self thoughts. Okay, so be sure to press like and share and comment. That would be great if you could do that. And I'll put the timestamps up so people can come back. It's good to know what your friends and family, what their astrological chart is too. And just an announcement that I'm going to be doing another group coaching session that's going to start in July. I'll probably have more information up about that. We're on the third session now. It's going really, really well. And it really helps people because I have your human design chart and your astrology chart to guide you, right? To guide you and to really reveal these ego identities. Yeah. Anyway, I put lots of information already up on my website if you want to read more about it. If you want to join highly transformational program. It's really, really, really fulfilling for me. Okay? So have a great day or evening wherever you are in the world. Okay? So the next couple days, it's all about destiny. So really be aware of what's going on in your life. And you've got some pointers here to help you. Okay? Okay, Satnam Aloha, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.